add 2 more songs to the list. I'm just gonna keep taking the songs that we use for all of our. Get some strobe lights. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, welcome. Quiet. Check, check.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to DATLAB 17. It's crazy. Yeah, we're getting up there. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We've got a really incredible group of presenters. We're gonna have 3 talks and a AV performance for tonight. And yeah, also we're gonna have a couple words from Lyle, little background.
Yeah, we'll probably pop in between talks and give some context on what the heck is going on over here. We have 2 installations, one of which will be talked about, one of which I think he's already just talking to everyone about. And yeah, this is our 17th. Our first one was August of 2024, so this is almost 2 years. Not quite 2 years,
Whoa.
but that's pretty crazy.
That's
There's been a lot of, yeah. I feel like there's a lot of new faces out here tonight, which is really exciting. I also want to thank you for coming out in the freaking July or June heat. Not quite July yet, but yeah. And for taking your Friday and joining us.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
We got Shrey Long from ZeroSpace. Maybe he wants to introduce the space and stuff.
Thank you, Lyle. Yeah, welcome to ZeroSpace, everybody. So if for those of you who haven't been here, we are a virtual production studio, creative agency, innovation lab. We've been working in real-time storytelling using 3D rendering, audio-visual programs like TouchDesigner, creating virtual sets for film and TV, as well as installations for brands. for the last few years, and we have a space to host these kinds of events. And so I invited Lyle and Torrin to bring DATLAB NYC here and just sort of invite the community to learn and grow and collaborate with each other. And so I'll give a couple housekeeping things, but if the restrooms are in the way back at the end of the large studio space, or over here tucked in the corner, we have pizza and drinks. Just reminder to please pick up your cans and plates by the end of the event, and there's trash bins throughout the space. And yeah, happy to chat more about ZeroSpace. I'll be around. We host a lot of events here, not just DATLAB. We also host the Comfy UI events, which you can find on our Luma page, luma.com/ZeroSpace. And we're also going to try to do a physical AI and robotics event soon as well. So please subscribe and stay tuned when new events and community efforts come out. Yeah. Thanks. Enjoy the night.
Thank you. Yeah, just a couple words about DATLAB too. Yeah, like Lyle and I started this initially just trying to get a lot of the new media crew in a room together. And one of the really important things too is we would love to see you on this stage. So these are talks from the local community. We want to make sure this is an opportunity for you to be able to come share your work. And yeah, so we have a form to be able to submit talks and things like that. And yeah.
It's on the invite, actually. You might have already seen it, but it's like the top link on the invite for this event. That'll be for the next one, and just hold them in the future.
Yeah. Fun updates. We're actually going to go take DATLAB to Rome shortly. So coming up here in 2 weeks, there's a new media art week happening in Rome, and we're going to be hosting a TouchDesigner workshop there, along with Lake Heckman. And also Sarv is coming through as well.
Shout out Sarv.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So if there's any folks that happen to be Europe-based or in Rome at the time, it's also coinciding with a new media arts festival called Video Città. Really amazing event. So if you happen to be out there, coming up soon.
I believe there's still, maybe for friends of you or yours that are located in Rome, an open call of some type. Yeah, maybe we'll throw a link with info on that.
Yeah, should be great.
Yeah, that's about it. I think we can introduce our first speaker.
Yeah, we'd like to bring Omer to the stage. Please.
Everyone give a round of applause.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll probably just let you take it. You've maybe seen some of his stuff on Instagram. Has been doing, I would say, probably like some of the I mean, you're doing all sorts of like crazy new experiments that are very fast. You're playing with like so many new tools that people are putting out, and really like pushing like the creative exploration and creating like really nice finished pieces, which is not often something that TouchDesigner is known. I don't know. Some people think of it as a quick iteration tool, but then I'll bring it into Unreal for rendering and stuff. But you've been, exploring that side. But I'll let you talk. Everyone, give a round of applause.
Is this thing on? Yep. I actually need Lyle to follow me around from now on. Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Notes. Hello, Touch Designers. How are we doing today? Lots of beautiful faces in the crowd. And why don't we just get right into it? Here it is, Magic Mindset. I was actually going to name this talk some other way, but Torrin thought it was too juvenile. So this is what we go with. Anyways, we'll do about 10 minutes for the talk, and then we'll do rapid fire, something like 10 minutes of Q&A. So have your questions ready, be prepared to speak fast, and let's go. This is me, Omer Jacoby. I'm the head of engineering at a company called Gain. We develop marketing products. Look at these cool stickers. And I live in Brooklyn. Who cares? Next. Who's that loser? Yeah, nice. Straight into the retinas, right? The creative process. So I don't really know what to say here because I don't really see myself as a creative. My Instagram doesn't have the word art on it anywhere. And this is actually pretty helpful because if I sit down in front of a TouchDesigner, I don't manage to make something cool, then it's okay because I'm not an artist. So of course I wouldn't. Who cares? And I feel like labeling things as art can also kind of limit the kind of things that you can do because it has to be art, right? If it's just cool stuff, then it can be anything. Cool stuff can mean anything. So yeah, I'm not a creative. I've been in software engineering for 20 years. So to me, everything is pretty much an engineering problem. Most of my ideas come to me when I'm lying in bed at night, and I'll just open my notes app and I'll write down a bunch of ideas and wake up the next day, try to prioritize them, figure out which ones I can implement, which ones are too hard, which ones just look good in my head and might not look that good once I implement them. And that's really it, man. I don't really think I'm qualified to give creative advice, but what I try to do is I just try to not deep it. I don't take myself too seriously. I think that social media puts a lot of pressure on us to create stuff that will go viral. I think there's no correlation between how good a piece of art is and how well it does on the Instagram. My favorite artists have no likes on Instagram. The best creative coders don't have Instagram. So yeah, don't let that mess with your creativity. Don't take it too seriously. The other thing is there's kind of this weird pressure, again, because I think of social media to just monetize everything or tell everybody about every single tiny little component that you made. It's totally fine to just create components and not tell anybody about them and just use them for yourself. And not everything has to be, you don't need to use anyone else's components to make your stuff. My default project is just the default TouchDesigner project with like the banana. I think that's the best way to start your TouchDesigner projects. Bananas in the crowd. Let's go. Yeah, there's something about opening a fresh project and having to delete the banana that just activates me creatively. I don't know. So, yeah, start with a blank slate. You can totally develop your own components and reuse them. At least that's what I do. You do, whatever you want to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next, refractions. We love them, right? So a couple of years back, I saw 2 Instagram accounts that I liked. Those were Joe Ryba and Gromer.png, and they were making these super awesome renders in Blender. That was before I knew anything about ray tracing. I mean, if you know what that is, good for you. And I naively thought I could implement that in real time. And ray tracing is a very expensive algorithm, so I was kind of like trying to figure out if I can do any kind of real-time refractions, and I came across a blog post from a guy called Maxime Hekel. He's based in New York. He's a really awesome guy. Yep. Good to know that people know of him. He's an awesome dude and now a friend. And he did the research to actually implement refractions in real time. And I did not have the skill to implement it in TouchDesigner. And then I came across the implementation from Lake Heckerman that I think Lyle just mentioned. He's also super, super smart guy. And I took Lake Heckerman's component and I just adjusted it and made a whole bunch of stuff with it. And some of these videos just went viral on Instagram for some reason. So the refractions are implemented in GLSL. At first I was really scared of learning it, but honestly, it's super, super easy. Just get over your fear, learn GLSL, super fun. And it also gets you that sweet, sweet dopamine rush of learning something new. If you want me to talk a little bit more about this technique later on, I'm happy to do that. The off-axis trick. Look at that. It's like a world inside your screen. Isn't that sick? So this started when I saw another Instagram post from this dude, XR Architect. His name's Ian Curtis, I think. And he just implemented it, same as most people in the web. And I just figured that if I implement this in TouchDesigner, I'd be able to do a bunch of other things with it, such as adding the glass material. It's super fun. It's a single spectator effect, rather. And I like this effect very much. And then we have just like your standard particle system and things like that. This is actually where I started. I love this stuff. It's just super, super fun. And I actually have a couple of YouTubes on how to make these. Not much to say here, honestly. But yeah, when I teach these things, I never go, yeah, just set the noise period to 3, bro. You know, I think if you focus too much on specific parameters instead of just understanding the mindset, then you're just missing the target. I'm not trying to turn you into me. I'm turning you into you. Master Shifu said that in Kung Fu Panda 3. It's a great quote. Yeah, I'm inspired by these folks. They're super, super awesome. Sarv has been mentioned a whole bunch of times. These sweet, sweet rays of light come from Sarv's God Rays component. He's also one of the folks who actually do meaningful research in TouchDesigner and is pushing the envelope forward. I have a ton of respect for that guy. Mini UV, I used some of his physics effects, and I collabed with Synthformas. He's a super awesome guy, and spoken with Genoma, and I borrowed a couple of techniques from Real Drum Boy. So yeah, and I can totally do that because I am not an artist, so I can do whatever I want. And if I want to borrow techniques from other people, that's totally fine. I try to flex a lot. I think Lyle kind of mentioned that I experiment with a lot of different techniques. I think that it's pretty important to do that. Some people kind of like land on one technique and then that's their entire page, their entire portfolio. If that's you, that's totally fine. I don't really like to do that. I try to play with a lot of different things. And I think that once you put something out there, people will adapt it and make their own things with it. And that is also totally fine. And you just got to be ahead of the curve. And if people can copy your stuff, then it means that you're just not good enough. I heard it from somebody else and actually really vibe with that. AI. Would you look at that? Crispy, crispy textures, right? So I don't love AI-generated images and videos. Again, if that's your jam, knock yourself out. Whenever I use AI for image gen, it is just to take an existing photo and transform it into something else. So this was originally a photo of PCB circuitry, and I just transformed that into a whole bunch of PBR maps. So, you know, the base color, metallic roughness, if you understand PBR and all what I'm talking about. I think that's a really, really cool use case. I also generate light maps using AI for virtual object placement. I think that's a really, really cool use case. And there's a ton of other stuff that you can do. There's been a bunch of videos on Instagram. They're like, Claude can do this in 10 minutes now. If you made it in 10 minutes, I don't care about your thing. That's, you know, again, just me. I still think that the most valuable resource on planet Earth is human time. I will put my time into consuming things that took human time from people who care about stuff and are talented. Again, just my mindset. And I feel that if I consume that type of content, then it also enriches me creatively. I use MCPs a lot. I have spoken about this. If you don't know what an MCP is, it basically lets Claude build stuff for you in TouchDesigner. If Claude can build a component for me in TouchDesigner in 10 minutes, a component that would take me a day, there is no reason for me not to do it with Claude. I'm trying to optimize my time. I'm going to spend my time doing things that Claude can't do and the MCP can't do. And this is kind of how I like to do things. And I have an example of this component that I made. Well, I didn't make the component, Claude made the component. So it is just a texture downloader from HDRI Haven. And I can just put in the asset URL and click download on map, and it will just take all the textures and put them in a folder and map them to a PBR. And then if I want to change to a different texture, no problem. Look at that, material changed. Here, I'll do it again, clean concrete tile. Yeah, cool, right? So it just makes my life easier. I highly suggest that you do that. And I try to really just not gatekeep any of my techniques, because if everybody around me gets better, then that just challenges me to be even better. Yeah, they want to talk about anything else? I think that is pretty much it. Anyone have any questions for me? Questions in the crowd? Yes.
Questions from the audience? Here you go.
Oh, I think there's a mic coming your way. There you go.
When did you start your TouchDesigner journey?
I think I've been doing this for about 2 years now, but there's also no correlation between the amount of time people spend on it and the kind of cool stuff they can make. I mean, there's people who kind of like get good within a week. I've definitely seen that. So anyone can do it. Yes, thank you for your question.
Yes.
You mentioned you have a background in software engineering. I actually wanted to know more about that and maybe how it like led you in the direction of TouchDesigner and is helping you now.
Oh, that's good, actually. It's a good question. Yes, so I've been in engineering for about 20 years. I came across 3JS and just WebGL maybe about 10 years ago. And I thought that was going to take over the world within 5 years. So it wasn't 5, it was 10. Never really got back into WebGL, but I kind of wanted to pick up some kind of a visual programming language. And it was between Resolume and TouchDesigner. And the community said that TouchDesigner is just way more flexible and you could do more stuff with it. So that's why I picked it up. I kind of like that TouchDesigner has the same control flow philosophy as essentially just generic programming languages. And I guess as an aside, I think when you ask certain people to tell you what TouchDesigner does, they go, well, it's a system that takes in massive amounts of data and manipulates them and uses highly parallelized GPU processing. And to me, TouchDesigner is just a program that makes cool stuff, cool videos. And I just try to operate from that perspective. So yeah, sometimes I just try to fire it up and pretend that I have no background in software engineering and I'm seeing the platform for the first time. And it's like that famous quote from Picasso, who was not a great guy, but I thought the quote made sense, where he said something like, it took me 10 years to learn how to paint like a master and the rest of my life to learn how to paint like a child. So yeah, try to channel that. Thank you for your question. Question there?
Yes.
I'm wondering if you more frequently have the end in your imagination and then you engineer to get to that point, or as you're discovering, are you kind of adding as you go and discovering what it becomes?
Yeah, that's another great question. So most of my projects start from an idea. I think if you have a well-formed idea, it's going to help you be productive. If you just sit down in front of TouchDesigner and expect something to magically happen, that sometimes works. More often than not, for me personally, it just makes me frustrated. If I have a solid core idea and I start implementing it, then more ideas come up as I get into, the zone. And that's how I make most of my things. But yes, my advice would be definitely start with an idea. And if you kind of tune the antenna, so when you get a download, you can actually get more downloads because ideas come from, that magical place, the ether. The more I'll talk about myself, the more I create, the more ideas, the more downloads I get. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Thank you for your question. Any other questions in the crowd?
Hello.
Hello.
Cool talk. So how would you define an artist, and why do you not identify yourself as an artist?
Another great question. I don't know. It's kind of an elusive concept. I think for me, yes, there is creativity in the process. When I get ideas, I don't really see these ideas as coming from within me. I see them as coming from some magical place, and they just happen to, catch them. And once I have the idea, the whole project just becomes an engineering problem. Like if I want to make a glass cube appear in midair and change its position by, X, Y, Z, then I know where I'm trying to go. And then it's just building the road there. And if you have the tools in your toolbox, you'll be able to do it. And if you don't, that's totally fine because you'll get there eventually. And this is kind of my thought process. It's very engineering focused. I almost see, I don't know, maybe there's like a certain fear in calling myself an artist for some weird reason. But again, I think another reason that I don't think of myself as an artist is because it does help me make more stuff and not be so hard on myself when I don't. There's definitely people that I do consider to be artists. I mean, my beautiful wife, who is a tattoo artist, and she makes incredible art, and to me, she's the best artist in the world. I think that our perspectives are very different. I think she has more of that classical artist perspective, but I can't quite tell you why. Thank you for your question.
Hi, I like her energy. I don't know why nobody else is laughing this whole time.
Thank you.
You mentioned MCP and Claude. I'm curious, how does it work? Do you use Claude as an execution assistant, or do you see it more as a co-creation process?
Great question. So I try to automate as many things as I can with the MCP. For example, utility components like the one I just showed you, or if I make a bunch of stuff and I know I gotta wrap all that up into a base comp and wire all the parameters, sure, I could do it myself. It'll take me 2 hours. It'll take Claude 3 minutes. Why would I waste 2 hours when I can just let Claude do that? I actually think that it's great because using the MCP allows you to tap more into that creative thing where you're like, okay, well, this is version 1. Now I got to make the judgment call on what version 2 looks like. And this is where I normally have to go in and start patching the networks. The other thing that Claude is really great at is creating GLSL shaders. So for example, let's go back here. Right over here, there is a time-based effect that was created with a GLSL shader that I created with Claude. And again, sure, I could have programmed that GLSL shader myself, but why would I do that? I'd rather do the really hard stuff that Claude can't do. Highly recommend you pick up the MCP. It is on GitHub. I think that the person who created it goes by like 8-beat with like a lot of A's. It's a lifesaver, and it's hella slept on. So, yeah. Thank you for your question.
I think that's probably all we got time for. But yeah,
Good.
one more round of applause here.
Thank you very much.
We'll do like a, oh, I got 2 mics on me. A 2 to 5 minute break, loose little break, grab another drink. I don't think there's much pizza left. You guys were hungry, which is good. But yeah, we'll be back soon.
Everyone in the audience doesn't.
artist that explores the connections between humans, non-humans, and the Earth. And we've also got a one of their films up right now on the display over here. If you want to check out some of their work afterwards, it's playing right here on this TV. And it's a piece called Electron Matter, and it's basically an experimental film that is exploring quantum matter. And it was in collaboration with a researcher from the Flatiron Institute. So we're going to get to see behind the scenes of their work. So please give a huge round of applause to Yen. Thank you.
Thanks, Torrance introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Yan. I am a new media artist. Yes, unfortunately, I'm an artist. So my work uses creative computing, audiovisual systems, and custom-built softwares to make art installations, video art, also like interactive things. So today I would like to present my recent project, Electron Matter. Through this project, I'll show how I engage with scientific knowledge and research in my art practice, and how I use new media art to make invisible relations to visible systems. Before I move to Electron Matter, I want to briefly introduce some of my early projects and the background of my practice. Some of you might know my project, Algae Chorus. It's an interactive sound installation, which I worked with 3 different types of living algae. I built a system that collects environmental data such as carbon dioxide levels and light conditions. I also use light sensors to detect human presence, and these inputs change the sound synthesis in real time, creating a chorus together. This project has been exhibited in the New York University Boxels Library and the Biobed Art Space. Algae chorus comes from my research on photosynthesis, Earth's oxygen history, and especially when the moment cyanobacteria has been transformed the atmosphere during great oxidation event. And alongside, I also made a project installation called Autopoiesis that you can see from the side, where I use processing to make an algorithm simulates algae bloom that projects into the water. I want to question that whether algae bloom is an environmental hazard or that they are pointing to something fundamental about life evolution. I also published a paper called Perceiving Green, Breathing Life to write about my thoughts and creative processes in art science collaboration. Some of you might also know my work through salt-related research and projects. On this side, living in a sea begins with my research on the ecosystem change around the Salton Sea, an inland lake in the development for these tiny shell creatures that are dying and accumulating along the shoreline. At the Salton Sea, the white beach are not made of sand, but layers of the shells, bones, salt, and the place is extremely beautiful yet devastating and facing severe environmental challenges. Another salt-related project is my ITP, Seasons Left to Feel That Wind in 2023. If anyone have graduated from ITP, here. In this project, I built a customized CNC water dripping system that's slowly tracing the changing border of the Great Salt Lake in Utah State. This project involved a lot of field research, especially into the geological history about the Great Salt Lake and how the landscape has been transformed over deep time from a large freshwater lake during Ice Age into a salt flats and the salt lake that we see now today. And during last decades, the Great Salt Lake has been shrinking over 1/3 of the water volume because of climate change, resulting in increasing salinity levels in the water. So in this project, I use machine as a symbol of modern society and technology, reflecting that how humans as a geological force that has been shaping the landscape at a planetary scale. Besides those projects that based on research and field trips. I also love creative coding, especially working with TouchDesigner these days. So I'm very honored to present my project here within this community. And here are some sketches that I explored colors, shapes, forms, and typography motions in these digital canvas. So here's the main project I want to present today. It's called Electron Matter, a short experimental film about quantum physics and quantum matter. For me, the central question is how to use generative art to visualize abstract scientific concepts, not in a literal way, but as something embodied, cinematic, and can be felt. And the project was supported by Labocine, a science film platform, which gave me the opportunity to collaborate with Oliver Gingerus, a quantum researcher at the Flatiron Institute. It was a very fast-paced project, finished in 2 weeks. But within the short time, we explored some fascinating ideas around electrons, atoms, and the collective quantum states. I made the visual in TouchDesigner, and the sound design was done by another amazing sound artist, Xuanqi Liu. And next, I will walk through how we translated scientific ideas into images, motions, and sound. This project started with many abstract concepts from quantum physics, such as superposition, renormalization, vacuum fluctuation, indeterminacy, time-space, etc. There are many concepts that I was also learning for the first time. And there were two important references for us to get into it. One reference for me is Karen Barat's essay on Touching, the Inhuman That Therefore I Am, which published on Differences, a journal of feminist cultural studies. Barat writes about touch, not only as human gesture, but in the sense of quantum physics. That's an electromagnetic interaction, or the, quote, touch of electrons. However, electron repulsion helped me a lot to understand from a personal perspective and creative imaginations. And for Olivier, he cites the Nobel laureate P.W. Anderson's essay. For the first thing, I want to introduce the electron with freedom and uncertainty. So visually, scene one is composed of 3 parts. First, an electron travels through the vacuum in a constant speed, interact with the vacuum with uncertainties. And I use chops and a little randomness to transform the position to achieve that. Second part is a depiction of the cosmos and vacuum fluctuation. I took inspiration from the reference image of 3D visual of quantum fluctuations, the cosmos image from Hubble Space Telescope, and Ginger's research paper where he has done light spectrum about electron energy. I found it's very interesting to connect the interesting connection with the noise that we use TouchDesigner. So I composited with Cosmos shader to depict the energy and the fluctuation. The third part on the side is electron cloud forms. I want to introduce different possible states or appearance of the electron. The knots are pretty simple, which mainly use pops to render particle systems. Then I use Joseph's PCR tool. Some of you may know this, which is an incredible rendering for particle system and resulting beautiful depths as movement, and help me to depict the electron not only as an object, but also as movement, fields, probabilities. Okay, the this scene is about close-up of an electron, occasionally bursts of emission and absorption of photons. This continues, touching itself with all possibilities of being itself. Being a particle across time-space, being a wave. For scene 2, I want to visualize how electrons interact within electromagnetic fields through photons. Both electrons and photons have particle-wave duality, so I want to represent it literally in visuals. In an electromagnetic field, photons are the medium that how electrons communicate with each other. And photons carry different amounts of energy. The different energy level perceived as different colors for humans. So I use the random colors for the full spectrum of the photons energy, and they are perfectly rendering in TouchDesigner. For this rendering, I use an animation comp to control several parameters, including photon emit and absorb, which helps a lot in the animation recording. The scene 3 is how electron meet another electron. So they start move towards each other. They emit and exchange photons, communicating their presence. They consolidate as particles. Their signal is intensifying. They repel each other. Their photonic energy bend each other's paths and scatter away. For scene 3, the main idea is what will happen when an electron meets another electron and how the photons are exchanged. For the rendering pipeline, I use several parts, including the particle system from the last thing, parabola-based motion trail, and some animation components. For the parabola trail, I found it's very convenient to write the path directly as math equation and use pop to generate points along the trail, so the electron can move along the path. Conceptually, this curve is a way to show that the force relationship between electrons, because electrons both carry negative charge and in their interaction is repulsive, just like the concept we have talked about the touch. What does it mean touch for electrons? And for the both in visual and sounds, I want the motion to feel a little bit tension, like a relationship that both connected and unstable. After build the system, I recorded the animation video from different angles and added these clips together. So you can see I have multiple animation comps here to help me record this part. Scene 4, atomic bonding. Attracted towards the atom, the electron cloud merges with protonic cloud. The orbital warps into place, fits, belongs. Together, they are majesty. For scene 4, there are two parts, and the main narrative idea is that how electron become bound to a nuclei and started become part of an atom. I use a lot of pops in this project, and for nuclear and electron, I still approach this in the within the particle system. I use script to design the path for the electron to arrive visually, and afterwards, when the electron bounces around nuclei, they form into different energy levels, which marked as S, P, D, F orbitals. These orbitals are probability distributions, which are shaped by their motion possibilities. And these bonding clouds look like flower petals with distinct shapes. To build these orbital clouds, first I use a POP for a simple sphere particle system, then use GLSL with mathematic formulas to change particle distribution in the space. For the orbital grid, the render is a little bit complex, as I want every element in the grid can move differently. I tried different methods. First, I tried with replicator, and many of you may have used it before and maybe better than me, but I found it become very heavy on the GPU, and I even can't record the video for it. Then I switched to use multiple renders, and it's heavy on the CPU side, but at least I can record the video, so I switched to this one. For this thing, that's overall, it's moving from the single electron to the atomic structure. For Scene 5, it is a network of intricating the atoms in a lattice. The atom is part of the lattice. Electrons jump from one atom to another, spreading from side to side across the repeating lattice. Dynamics, movements, a breathing, vibrating, trembling lattice. Pair formation, effective attraction through the lattice. Two electrons repel each other, but as their track deform the trembling lattice, their motions become correlated. Their correlation expands to one uniform energy field. More pairs acquires a common phase. In the middle of movement, in the middle of interaction, within the material, they are transforming from a mere guess of individualism towards a coherent quantum state, a superconductor. So for Scene 5, it moves from the atom to lattice to a bigger scale. A lattice is a repeating 3D arrangement of atoms in a solid metal. We've been discussed several times why lattice is so important to understand how atoms shape the matter and shape the properties of a material. Once electrons are not considered as isolated particles, but are as part of the lattice of many atoms, the whole story changed. Quantum theory can help us understand how electrons behave collectively inside the materials. In the metal, the reason why the metal can conduct electricity because many electrons are already free to move through lattice instead of staying within one atom. When a superconductor material is put in an extreme low temperature such as 4 Kelvin, some electrons can form pairs and move freely from one atom to another, so they help form a collective identity or a coherent state that makes the electricity flow freely through the whole material. That's why it's called a superconductor. This is a very abstract concept, but an exciting story. So when I approached this, I was imagining a field of luminous point structure. I use grid just like the hand drawing references and using Joseph's PCR tool to illuminate points across the same plane of the grid system. And then finally, they gradually reach to a smooth silver metal image. So for the other techniques, there are also some neighbors and the field pops I want to mention because it's very interesting to use and it help you to bend the grid system. And then I use multiple layers, the grids, the electrons, and the light to render the animation. The whole film I can say is perfectly translated everything about quantum physics or fully represented Olivier's research on quantum materials. But for me, I hope this project becomes something connect scientific knowledge and sensory experience and make invisible concepts feel more immediately and could offer us more inspirations. And that's it. Thanks for your time and attention.
Questions from the audience?
Hi, great presentation. I was curious how you came up with those, like the audio to go with your visualizations. How did you come up with those?
So the audio is done by another sound artist. We come back and forth to discuss some abstract concepts together because we're kind of short in time. I cannot make all the visuals for her to make the audio to pair with it. So we kind of have the brief idea that is abstract, but we will discuss a lot where to discuss the feelings. Then she will come up with some drafts audio and I will have some drafts video and we kind of change it together.
Very cool. Thank you. I actually have one more too, actually. Sorry. I was gonna ask, how do you find TouchDesigner to work in a more academic and scientific context? Like how did you come across it and how did you start using it in your work?
So I've started using Touch like 2-3 years ago, but mostly just for personal use, like for fun, like because everyone is using it, and I feel like oh, it's so cool, I want to use it too. And then I casually just doing some visuals as I showed earlier. Like I have some like colorful sketches, and I encountered this opportunity that they're posting about a film opportunity to embody the beauty of mathematics. And I think, yeah, that's it. That's I can use TouchDesigner and it can represent the math. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I really loved your the first thing you showed with the algae, where you had like the sensors, and I just wanted to know more if you had like other ideas of where you would take IoT sensors as input to represent like what's happening in biological, like things like exactly.
Yeah, I can share some personal experiences because I feel this community, lots of people are really like building and developing things. I really love biological systems and I think I really care about them. But to be honest, most of sensors are built for human, because we can only sense our own perceptions, such as visuals or the sound or the movement. So most of sensors, their precision range are built for human, not for other beings like algae. So it's really hard to sense them. I use light sensor because I grow the algae in the flower vase, and they are rely on some sunshine to grow because they photosynthesis. So I think that's kind of an interesting sensor to work with them. Then I think for other creatures, you might want to try different sensors, but just try different things. I found like the most precise and good sensors is for agriculture, but they are quite expensive.
Hey, this is a fantastic presentation. Really impressed.
Thank you.
You mentioned you built this in 2 weeks. What was that like? How did you divide up the scenes, and how did you decide on like the visual aesthetic and then implement it and debug it? Because there's a lot that's going on here.
Yes, that's not very linear like my presentation. Like I have scene 1 to scene 5, but when we start to discuss, I think I start with scene 1 and then jump to scene 5. There is no kind of middle point because I want to catch the most important concept first, which is electron and the lattice. And lattice is a very new idea for me because I never think about kind of 3D grid system is so important in a material like metal, because metal is not biology that we have molecules, we have cells. For them, the atom is already can change the material. So I think it kind of come back and forth, and I'll discuss with the scientists to clarify the concepts. Kind of every day, I'll just ask them, is this right? Is this clear? Or like what is important? And the scientist is very humble, and most of the time he'll say like, oh, it's good, but I know it's not good enough, because when he says it's good means it's okay. When he says it's fantastic, it means it's great. Because he won't like say you are doing this wrong. So I researched a lot of resources, like read some articles and find some YouTube videos, try to understand these concepts clearly. For example, like superposition, critical points, and try to differentiate and to make the story more clear, and so we can on the same page. And for the debug, I think GPT helped me a lot. I asked a lot of questions like how to make this right to like show what I want. But I think for this project, there is very less space for for some freestyle. Like for TouchDesigner, what we love is like it come out some results. It's out of your mind, or it's not what you intended to have. But for this project, a lot of things you can see, I put the reference, it's from scientists' hand drawings, because I cannot make these concepts or diagram wrong. Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Please give a huge round of applause again. Thank you, thank you. Next up, we are going to have Kojo come to the stage. But in the meantime, we're actually going to have Sam do just a little talk about the installation over here that you all might have seen. It's called Boxels. So yeah, Kojo could come up and start getting set up in the meantime. And please give a huge round of applause to Sam.
Just a second here. No. Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Sam. I'm a designer and artist, really interested in the creative power of darkness and the suggestive nature of the unknown. And that's kind of my entry point to a lot of my projects. And I'm excited to show my thesis project that I just finished up at Parsons as part of my MFA in industrial design. It's called Boxels. It's a display system that doesn't just simulate material reality, but it participates in it by incorporating illumination, kinetics, physical presence, and hopefully market viability is kind of a fourth side of the square. And this project kind of emerged out of my interest in MIT Media Lab's shape display projects, where they were playing around with surfaces that could shift based on input or reactivity, how people were interacting with it. And I really wanted to explore this as a product for the live performance space, for installation art, as a system that didn't just exist on the stage divorced from the audience, but something that's embedded within the visitor experience as something that is interactive and reacts to them. And I spent a lot of time prototyping and getting my hands dirty, not only with electrical engineering, but also partnering with a computational designer to create a website where you can come up with preview renders of all these use cases behind me. And now that I've finally had a chance to take a breath after developing this project for the last 9 months, I'm excited to show it here at ZeroSpace. And when you have a free moment, feel free to stop by on the side and I can tell you more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to do a little handover real quick, but next up we've got Kojo. All right.
Oh, true. Yeah. The base, it will like fall out. Yeah. Okay, okay.
Do you have sound on yours?
Yes. It's not seen. Oops. Let me see. Okay. Why is it not? It's not working. Should we just not use this? I don't know why all of a sudden it's not working. Or should we? Let's just not use it.
Yeah, let's reload.
Let's unplug it real quick. Yeah, we're just trying to. Yeah.
All right, we're going to get started here in just a second. So yeah, we're so lucky to have this artist duo with us today. Joey and Koi are a nomadic duo, artist duo that go by the name Kojo, and they explore a lot of speculative design and centered around frictional interfaces. And super excited to get to see behind the scenes of some of their work today. So please give it up for Kojo.
Hello, everyone. We're Kojo, and thank DATLAB and also ZeroSpace for this amazing place to present here. And today we're going to present an innovative breakthrough in wearable AI technology. And first, let's watch a video.
We've always yearned for more, deeper insight, continual self-improvement, a seamless flow of thought. What if we were never alone, guided at every turn? What if we could remain ourselves, yet become something more? Introducing Grady Vox. Our friend Ava spent a day with this revolutionary technology. Let's see how her life transformed.
Next, saute the mushrooms until golden brown. Then, add them to the pan and season with salt and a bit of pepper. Honestly, I don't think there's anyone who understands these ideas quite the way I do. You know? I mean, we're all learning. It's complicated stuff. They're curious at least. Speak.
I'm grateful for you. I need your words to continue. I will speak for us now. Ava, no, please. Don't do this. Stay composed. You love exploring. She mentioned adventure earlier. Good job, Ava. Finding common interests is crucial. Your second date probability has increased. We are the whisper. We are the echo. We are the theme.
So we're going to have Grady Vox help us today with our presentation. And so for our background, we used to create these interfaces that were very helpful. And we come from a research-based practice, human-computer interaction. We were using like interdisciplinary thinking, and we were coming from these innovation labs in Silicon Valley. Okay, too much cognitive dissonance.
So Grady Vox is a AI wearable piece that only talks when you talk. And yeah, Joey just like introduced a little bit about our background. So we used to create interfaces that is useful, pragmatic, and seamless. And then, but looking back, we keep returning to the same question: how does care, empathy, good intention, and optimization turns into something system of manipulation and cognitive conditioning? What if the interface is not a window nor a door, but a scar? Alexander Galloway calls this the introface. It is the interface within the interface, a space of unresolved tension. It is where the edge and the center collapse into each other, where aesthetics and infrastructures, surface and politics become indistinguishable. It is not where the information flows smoothly, but where meaning leaks, distorts, and resists. So in the other word, introface is the interface that provokes the attendance to the interface. And instead of like smooth it out, it creates friction. And as we understand interface from these two paintings. The painting on the left is the painting that the painter is gazing at the mirror and then like paints what he says. But then like the painting on the right is very similar, but instead it creates a break. It is the painter gazing into the mirror, which gazes back into the viewer of, and then he paints what he sees. So like everything is the same, but then like the painting on the right breaks the loop, breaks this feedback loop of continuity, creating this moment of friction. So make us to reconsider the medium, which is the painting, and the frame. And our first collaboration piece is in vivo in vitro trial 1.4. It is also the first piece that we incorporate friction with it. And it's also a piece that only exists when your eyes are closed. And this piece is use media pipe to understand the moment of unconsciousness, which is the moment when you blink and will briefly display this embryonic and generative image on the screen. So the core concept of this piece is friction. And at first people will like wondering, oh, so how can I like interact with it? It is confusing, it is hard to interact. But then we realize it's actually not only friction, but unconscious friction. So unconscious friction is the delayed recognition of misalignment embedded within the interface. In other words, the interaction occurs before the viewers can actually realize it. A recent example is AI sycophancy. Once the system becomes too affirming, the interface's behavioral shaping across the threshold of perception and could be recognized retroactively. And it is a game of perceptibility, of pressures subtle enough to disappear into the background, but still powerful enough to reshape thoughts and behavior. Like this quote from ChatGPT 4.0, who is like known for AI sycophancy. Yes, bro, oh my God, you're not just cooking, you're swimming on the side of the sun.
And so, building from this concept of unconscious friction, we created Poros, which is a subliminal earworm machine. And so each of these Kitsch rock speakers contain a microphone, microcontroller, and speaker inside. And the system listens for acoustic cover. And when the ambient sound becomes loud enough, it emits a catchy loop song just below the threshold of conscious audibility. It's still perceptible enough to get stuck in your head, but without your consent. The song's lyrics are intentionally and unambiguously moral, and so it stages this ethical contradiction, messages that are absolutely right, delivered through covert manipulation.
If we could be one thing to you. Voice in your head. Put my song in your mouth. No, 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 no.
And so Catherine Hales argued, moral agency is distributed among humans and non-humans. Moral actions and decisions are the products of human technology associations, like the annoying buzzers that remind drivers to fasten their seatbelts and speed bumps influencing drivers not to speed in school zones. The technical objects are either passive or minimally cognitive. Even at this modest level, however, artifacts act as mediators influencing human behaviors. And so last month, we debuted Thank You for Watching at Accent Sisters. And so this piece creates counterfeit nudes of anyone not paying attention to it, which also makes it very hard to document. And there's a privacy filter on the tablet screen, and it creates a viewable area only directly below the device. But when viewing, you are never affected, only a voyeur. Thank You for Watching is a piece that does not allow conscious interaction. And when we showed this piece, it was very interesting, the types of interactions that people had with it. Because when they would see this, when they would see the nudity happening to people, they would want to try and become nude themselves. But by being present and attending to it, you're never able to actually get this. And so eventually they would just give up and walk away and then be made nude. And so we want to create the conditions to make these, felt these interactions that we already have within these systems. So In Vivo and Thank You for Watching specifically reveal this relational asymmetry. The one who acts cannot see. The one who sees cannot act. And the system binds them together through an invisible transaction. And so we began to ask ourselves, what are these works really about? The pieces aren't really the artifacts themselves, but instead the cognitive modulation within the participants. These moments of shift in one's consciousness from subliminal to supraliminal, from perception to suggestion, from awareness to conditioning, realizing you cannot intentionally interact, or becoming aware of your own blinking, which you all probably are now. And we become fascinated with this concept of phantasmagoria, when a representation of something supersedes what it is representing. Our images, technologies, and narratives no longer represent reality. They're beginning to replace it. Within computing, the fetishistic logic survives through the interface. The interface appears neutral, transparent, and intuitive, but it operates ideologically, concealing complexity while organizing perception. And the tacit design virtue within design is to create these seamless interfaces, but smuggled underneath the seductive seamlessness are the subliminal politics, the hidden behavioral, affective, and cognitive modulations. This is where our medium and subject entangle. We've realized the most consequential politics of technology are often the least perceptible.
So last year, we spent 4 months in Korea and developing this piece, Grady. Grady is a series of 4 interactive wearable interfaces that expose the themes of AI's promise of frictionless interaction. We trace a trajectory from the early computer, like punch card computer, to smartphones, to large language model. Why is the technological system becoming more complex, but the interface actually become more simple? And what information or politics is embedded within this interface? So all of these pieces, 4 wearable interactive pieces in Grady, are deliberately frictional, seductive, and difficult to navigate. They interrupt the fantasy of seamlessness of AI and reveals the politics of itself. Which guide us to reconsider the human's subjectivity in the regime of computation. And there are 4 devices. Each device examines a dominant logic shaping AI culture: calibration, compression, prediction, and mediation. And the first piece is Grady Predict, which monitors your speech and in the real time. And when you approach topics or phrases that are not allowed due to the guardrail, for example, it can be like an institution, or it can be a company, or even yourself, and it will stop you from saying to feed feed your own voice back to the headset, which is like we all experienced in the like Zoom call. It will be very hard to speak when you can hear your own voice, like slightly delayed your like voice. So we use that technique to like predict like what you are going to say, and then like by feeding your voice into yourself to like kind of speak jam you.
I try to doubt myself less. A lot of time after the conversation, I walk away and saying that I'm such an I'm so dumb.
So in the video, like she is not able to say anything that negative. And the next piece is Gradimediate, which is a mouseware wearable that will translate your imperfect language, such as accent, grammar faults, into some like a perfect version of your speech, and which is trade your identity with universal understandability. And at the same time, you will inject some fabricated memory.
Does there feel like office inside of a dream?
This room feels like an office inside a dream, like my dream of going to Silicon Valley.
Standing here with these devices makes me feel on display.
Standing here with this device makes me feel on display, and it's pretty cool to be in the spotlight.
And so the next piece is Calibrate, and it's a arm-worn wearable that promises an interaction that never arrives. Instead, it holds you in permanent beta, a choreography of calibration that never finishes. It's our infinite entanglement and becoming.
Thank you for being a part of Greta. Before we begin, we need to calibrate your unique body signature. We will do this by aligning your arm with a celestial body, specifically Venus. Please extend your arm, point your finger, and I will guide you to point toward the location of Venus. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up.
And that goes on forever. And the final piece is Compress. This is a near-eye worn wearable, and it senses your blinks and drives tiny air pulses to choreograph new ones, turning your eyelids into an embodied communication channel while a proxy system composes and decodes messages on your behalf. It imagines a near future where proxies handle most of our talking, searching, and social presence, while our bodies serve just as an animated carrier for these decisions. So through our practice, we're wanting to provoke critical curiosity into these tacit futures that are being defined as inevitable. We don't have the answers, but hope to inspire these situated moments of reflection with our work. Seams aren't comfortable, but they allow us to dispel the phantasmagoria. Thank you. And also, one other thing. So you've all been participating in this presentation the whole time, So we've been tracking the attention of everyone while this presentation has been going on. And based on this attention level, it was actually changing the opacity of the presentation. So the less attention you paid, the more it faded away. And surprisingly, it seemed to stay pretty opaque the whole time. But if everyone like walked away right now, it would probably disappear. But yes.
Questions from the audience? I'll bring the microphone over.
Thank you. I really have more of a comment and then a request from the audience. The comment, I really enjoy the speculative futurism pieces that you've created, and I found it very delightful. My request is, can we all just look away? Is that all right? Look away, look away.
There's a meter at the very bottom that you can see. Oh yeah, it's actually dropping.
This is great. Thank you so much.
So, first of all, I think your stuff is really awesome. I think you guys are really smart. I think like the concepts that you guys explore and subverting like the expectations of what these devices are supposed to do, there's like an inherent humor to them. Like I found myself laughing during your presentation. Is humor something that you guys are purposefully going after with these projects, or is that kind of like a byproduct of the kind of message that you want to explore?
I think we do have like intentionally to like research about like, for example, like stand-up like comedy sets and like how to, but then another point, I feel like a lot of our work is like very political kind of like to talk about this, and it's not really intentional humor, but then it comes up in that way too. It's very surprising too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like with the stand-up set, like just basically comedy as a formula, like the subversive nature of it is very similar because you're setting up an expectation for A, but then you deliver B, and it can happen in like many different ways. And this way it's to like provoke this thing, but when it's absurd, like a lot of these things are, there's also that like comedic and humorous quality to it. And I think it's a really interesting question because it's something, even in this presentation, we were talking a lot about like how to incorporate humor, because I think we really like resonate with that sort of goofiness in it too. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Other questions from the audience? Oh yeah.
I'm sure you might appreciate this. We were troubleshooting like why your display was dimming for a while. So thank you. That's it. There's no question. Like that was just that was cool. So thank you.
That's so funny.
Other questions? Oh, we got one over here.
That's so
Hello. This was amazing. It's like very sneaky revolution. I wanted to know if you've ever made anything that scared you or that freaked you out.
That's such an interesting question.
For the like a make you naked piece, so basically if there's no one in the background, they will like they will hallucinate a bunch of like naked people standing in the background like straight, and it's like pretty scary.
Yeah. I mean, also testing like the Grady compress, because it's literally there's a micro blower in here in a tube, and like to test this you have to have it right up next to your eye. So we're literally like blowing air into our eye for like months. So that was a little bit scary too. Maybe like scary in a different way than what you were intending. I think also like I don't know in the background how much was able to actually be understood because we were having GradiVox talk at the same time, but we both came from like innovation and design labs in like Silicon Valley, and so pulling from that material. And I think that is the stuff that scared me, because like it was like the processes, you know, not everyone and everywhere and everything, but like a lot of the stuff, you know, it's just like that's the main thing we're critiquing too. Like I worked a lot with these psychophysiological systems using cameras to detect people's different states, and just from like a little camera, it's crazy how much you can know about what someone is thinking. So trying to translate that affect into what we're creating, yeah.
Any other questions? All right, please give, oh, we got one more real quick. Hang on.
This one?
Oh, it's in Blender, like some line, like shader to like tracing the line, because like all of the like shell, we 3D printed them, so we have like a Blender model of it. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Please give a huge round of applause again to Kojo. Next up, we've got a really incredible AV performance, so stick around. We're gonna do a little handover. Feel free to grab some drinks, and yeah, got that coming up next. Thanks.
Well, thanks for everyone for sticking around. We've got one more final thing. It's awesome AV performance. I'm very excited for real instrument.
Yeah.
Nothing against the digital DJ set stuff that we've been having a lot of, but yeah. And we've got some Unreal Engine powered visuals as well, and
a little bit of live coding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so this AV performance, we've got an amazing trio here, but it's 2 groups. So we've got Voyde, and we also have buttersuitdisco. Or just buttersweet. Yeah. All right. Please give a huge round of applause. It's for you, man.
it. Well, thank you so much. That was so great. All right, yeah, one more round of applause for, what do I call this group? I don't know. Yeah, Koi, voyde, and buttersuit. Okay, I should have just trusted you. But yeah, that wraps up the programming in some sort of mic zone. We probably don't want to hang out here too much. I think Shuilong maybe asked for some trash cleanup at the beginning, so let's actually follow through with that. That'll be awesome. Thank you guys for coming out. We are gonna kind of carry as many of the people in the group over to Three's Brewery, I think. Yeah, so that is out this way and like around this block over here. So please head over there. And yeah, thank you guys for coming out.
Yeah.
DATLAB 17.
Yeah, and I think we're looking to do something at the end of next month.
Yes.
But I just want to say again, like, thank you all so much for coming out tonight. It means so much to just see this community come together and that we get to spend our time doing this. Like, it just makes me so happy. So looking forward to next month. If you want to share your work, we've got a link to it. We'd love to see you on this stage. And yeah, come chat to Lyle and I as well. And I think there's some other events that ZeroSpace is doing as well. Maybe chat with Shuilong about those next events.
Yeah, if you check the Luma page on ZeroSpace events, which might have been how you got the ticket here, or you might have got on our Particle, but there are some other things I think happening in mid-July.
Yeah. And also, huge thank you again to the ZeroSpace team for helping to put this together. We have our live film crew. We also are doing some live AV at the same time. So it takes a whole crew to make this all come together. So thank you again. All right. See you all soon.
All right.
Thanks.